So it's there's a little bit of dexterity which kids can be quite good at, as well as they go for their parents, quite frankly. You've got that take that where they roll the dice and then like, oh, I'm going to go here and I'm going to attack you and I'm going to make you move.
Which you'll love that.
Oh, children love that. It's like the best thing for kids to think, oh yes, I'm going to go for my dad. And they completely forget that there's supposed to be a hand in, the ore in to get money. All they want to do is knock all that ore out the car and then steal the dog. It's this gorgeous little cute dog. Oh yeah. And it's just the cutest little dog.
So what's the base mechanics of the game then?
So the aim of the game is you are a miner and you're trying to make as much money as you can by the end of either the 6 or the 8 rounds. It's double-sided for a slightly longer game. There's 2 phases to every round. The first phase is you move. So everybody rolls the dice and it's a D3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you must move the full number of moves. But then there's cards. All these are cards where you can force your people somebody to move more. I'm trying to think of a find one. So there's various different cards that let you either play on yourself or on an opponent to move more, the oil slick, or to move less. And then you either add the 3 or the 2 onto the card. And then so you think you've got one, and then so they can play a card and you can say, well actually no, I'm going to do this card instead. Until you get to a point where you have to move.
Oh, okay. Oh dear.
Yeah. And then you move the floor around. If you ram into someone, they move, they drop over. If you run into a log, then you stop and you drop over.
And the logs, I assume, are placed by players.
Yes, so it's dynamite. So you either drop dynamite, so you can either put it down. Or you can use dynamite to get rid of it.
I love taking on mechanics. I'm not a cooperative player. I'm going to take that. The more the better.
And the good thing about it, so if you get trapped, if somebody was to completely sort of trap you like this, that you couldn't get back out again, say, then you roll the dice. Rather than move, you dig your way out. Okay. So you would then say, I rolled a 3, I'm going to remove 3.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So you can't ever be permanently stuck. Because siblings will try and trap each other as well.
Permanent removal from the game is always a bad thing.
Oh, definitely, I can't stand it. But it's quite a quick game. The first couple of games, it probably takes longer to explain the rules, for people to get used to it. Once you've played it, 20 minutes to half an hour. It plays really well with 3 and 4 people. You can play it with 2, but with 2, either just play with 9 tiles or just carve out like an entire site. Just so you've got a smaller base to run around. So that sort of works out.
Can you come off the board or?
No, you can't come off it, but if you get to here, you shunt, which makes you stop and then have to go backwards. So you would shunt, lose an ore, and move back.
At the end of the game, it's the person with the most.
So you can end up with a chain reaction, where someone shunts you to here, they move to there, you shunt them back.
Okay, so cool.
And then everybody loses ore.
So say, for instance, we have someone here. Could you actively purposely come this way to shunt back and push them?
No, because you would shunt back the way you came.
Oh, okay, you always come back from where you came from.
Yeah. There is a card called Whack the Lever that lets you turn, so lets you go here, not hit the wall, and then shunt that way.
Nice. Now, if you shunt another player, do you both drop or just the other player?
Just the other player. Because you're in control. You're the person who's like, I won't down my ore. Go.
In we go. Nice, I like it.
Yes. No, it's because before we signed up this version, this game Coral, we had another game called Renewal, which was also a dice stacking game, which had almost the same number of dice. It did have boards, separate boards, but we just decided let's bung the two together and call it Coral Islands. Yeah. So, and then you get 2 games of 1, and because obviously dice are expensive to manufacture, we just thought, well, at least we're going to hopefully give better value for money, because this is the sort of light game that you might play with people, someone who doesn't like games, for instance, and then the other game is something a bit more strategic that you play with your strategy buddies.
So from what I've heard, it's about dice stacking. What I still don't understand is why do the dice numbers matter?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Definitely. So there's two ways to score in this game. Firstly, where it's number independent, it's shape dependent. Okay, so essentially you're trying to form these shapes in any orientation. So basically that's just a square with three of yours in an L in any orientation.
Okay, and I'm assuming this is any other dice.
Wild.
Oh yeah. Cool.
And then a cross with a wild in the middle. There's all sorts of shapes. There's different shapes and whatever in here. So obviously this is an early prototype of the thing. So that's one way of scoring. Other way of scoring is we use these player cards to sort of manipulate the dice. So this one, 1 and 2, it allows you to put your dice straight onto the seabed, orthogonally to other dice. 3, 4, 5, 6, you must place them on a diver, but the diver has a timing sequence. So, but it's only got 3 slots. So as soon as you've placed your die in the final and third slot, the diver dives in, and then the players from 1, 2, and 3 will place their dice.
Okay.
And you place your dice for free on the seabed without, it doesn't matter about the number, or on a die that's lower than yours, of any colour. Okay, so you can put a 6 on a 4, 2 on a 1, etc. The only exception is a 1 can go on top of the 6, because a 6 scores you 3 points. Yeah. And the final way to score is, let's say you had a stack like this. You take a look from the top, and then you just take away the stack that's yours. So the yellow would take that, and then the orange would take these 3. You tally them up, and then you halve them, and then you add them up on top of your cards.
In the likes of something like this, where it's all clumped together, say there was a 9, and you manage to somehow create that in the middle, how do you tell, or is it once it's blocked out, is there a way of like, does this ever become null and void kind of thing?
So once you've matched that up, you can't use the dice again. That's one. And then 2, it's actually pretty rare for you to create a big structure and not realise that you've missed it. This is in front of you, so you should always know.
Okay, yeah.
And then other players should check as well.
So they can see what you're building as well. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
So it's not hidden. Nice.
None of it is hidden. It's all open information actually. The other thing is that some people wanted some dice mitigation a bit better than just this, so we've given them algae cards, and the algae cards basically allow you to change the dice by either re-rolling it, changing the face of it, or subtracting or adding 2. Why would you want to subtract 2? A 1 can stand on top of a 6, like I said before. But if you do use those abilities up, you forfeit 3 victory points.
Oh, okay.
So each cube is worth a victory point.
Oh, and you've got card each. Okay, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we're going to try and sell this for £27. So
I didn't hear. Yeah, because I was listening to the podcast. I was Richard from We're Not Wizards, and I was really.
Yeah.
I was listening to it, and I was like, it just got me thinking, and then I was like, my dice. And I was like, I'll have to find out. So which is cool. So yeah, some work that I never.
Pocket Sub's an abstract game, so it's all open information. But essentially, some people have called it advanced tic-tac-toe.
Right, okay, fair enough.
I mean, the whole point is you've got these cute submarine meeples, it's in a small box, and it's a brain burner game, a little bit like chess or Hive, in that sort of scope, but very, very quick. Essentially, the whole point of the game is you must move your submarines 3 movement points. So if you move into an empty area, that's 1 movement point, 2 movement point, 3 movement points. Then you must place a mine on where you have travelled from. So I want to maybe place it here because I'm closer to the white player. Then it's the white player's turn, they do something similar. So for instance, if he's here, it takes 2 to move into a rocky region, and it's okay to move through a region with your own submarine, and then you go here. That's 3 movement points. If I go into you like this, we blow each other up.
Nice.
You still have to plant a mine.
Oh, so if I were to, so if you go into the other player, you blow them up and drop a mine as well?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And the command center is sort of like a base, so you could sort of hide there if you haven't. And then if someone tries to enter, you get blown up. The other caveat is that there's also this deep sea movement, so you can go from one deep sea, go down to the deep sea, and then come up to another region. So you can go for 2 movement points, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that's a legal move as well.
That's quite fast. And what's the objective? Is it to get 3 in a row of the mines?
No, it's actually to blow other people up.
Oh, it's just to destroy. Oh, okay, cool. It's when you said the tic-tac-toe thing. I was like, what's the? So it's just to remove your opponents from the board.
Yes, exactly.
Is this finished? This game is it?
Yeah, so this is going to be ready for Essen.
Luis is here, the designer of the game is here. We will have him for the entire exhibition. He will sign the copies by drawing at the back of each set. Yes.
Nice. Cool. No, I like artwork has always been a big thing for me. I've seen the name. I've not actually got a chance to look at anything because it's been chaos. But yeah, what can you tell me about it?
Well, it's a game of area control for 45 to 60 minutes, 1 to 4 players. One.
Oh, yeah. See, this one player thing is so popular. I'm loving this.
People ask it more and more, so we try to respect that. And as you can see, the game works with dummy players and has an identity that works actually and makes the opponent move. When you are familiarized with yourself, you can play against 2, 3, or 4 opponents. Okay. So the game will last for 4 rounds. It's a round we call it day. So at the end of the day, during the night, you count the victory points you have achieved during the day. The victory points in the game are points. So you count if you are the protector of the mounts against the other players, you get 2 points. If you are the protector of the desert or you are the protector of the woods, etc. So you gather the money and you use the money to buy more guys of this. This is your army, along with your villain. Okay. Yeah. It's an Ewok bear.
I like it.
Of course. And what you are really trying is to make small victories against your opponents. Okay. In order to achieve the area control.
Okay.
Just for a day.
Yeah.
The next day, it's a more harder because you put inside more meeples, which actually are used to achieve the area control. And not only, but use them also to loot the city of Covil. Okay, because we are villains here. Okay, we're bad guys. We are trying to take the artifacts from the sort of. Yes, you can see the pattern of the game.
Yeah.
So the art is a mashup of 80s and 90s cartoons.
Nice touch.
Yes. And it's always a mashup. It's never just one character. During the Kickstarter, the players are actually sending us proposals. We even make a competition, and we created art based on their proposals.
Oh, nice. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's why we have the core game. We have the Covil Outpost expansion that puts inside small towers. You can use them to defend yourself, and we have the Chaotic Evil expansion that brings inside the dinos for entertainment, for chaos and everything else.
Chaos is always good.
Chaos is good in Covil. I remind you, we are badasses on the game.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Brilliant.
You are drafting tiles, so you've got this ghost who is haunting the tiles that are on offer, and the 3 ones after it you can pick from and you can place in your hotel.
Right.
And each one has one of various ghouls in it. Once you've completed a row of your things, so you've got 5 across, you can invite a guest. And guests have different scoring conditions. So the thing about this game is you don't know what your scoring conditions are until you're actually playing it, and you can choose them, whereas someone gets there first. So they have a ghoulie each, and either column or row. And you'll basically place them on top. So I might want to place her there, and she'll give me 2 points for the creepy doll in her window, 2 points for the creepy doll in that one, and so on. So you can kind of grab some scoring conditions and you kind of build it up as you play along. Basically everyone's taking some turns, and so you can select from the 3 after it. When you select your tile, you take it, you place it, you draw a new one, and you move it there. So with the ghost, you have a certain amount of influence on what other people can use.
So the ghost, do you have to place them on the one that's revealed, or can you place them on any other?
You place it on the one that was just revealed. Yeah.
Is that for a specific reason, or
just because it's Yeah, it's kind of it's weighing up the what do I need versus what can I do just to annoy someone else.
Right. Okay.
And even like you've got these sort of filler tiles. If there's nothing that you want to do, you can put 2 of them down to help link up your ivy, which is the other way that you score in this game.
Okay.
You've got 2 types of flower dictated on your door, and you're trying to link up colours of flowers of the same colour via the ivy.
Oh yeah, I just seen that. Yeah.
So here I've got a yellow and a white leaf back, so I'll get 2 points for that at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's cool. So that's something you're not going to notice straight away until the end when you're scoring out. That's interesting. Okay.
And a lot of people will kind of, depending on what you focus on, you can say, I really want to lean into the flowers and kind of do whatever with the ghouls. And it does balance either way. You've got these like bonus scoring tiles as well for once you've learned the basic rules. You've got these extra ways that you can score for like getting sets, getting lots of flowers in a row.
Is this designing the building like that, or is that?
That is amount of ivy that leads to the edge.
Right. Okay.
And then like longest ivy will score you 1 per window. Every group of 4 flowers.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
You've got this witch as well. It's a little bit different. She doesn't give you points for any specific monster. She'll give you for every different one. So if you've got this completely random row and you're like, there's no coherence here, you can put down your witch and she'll kind of...
So like, say example, this one, is this a creepy doll and creepy doll, or?
Both creepy dolls, yeah.
So like, say that wasn't there, that bottom row there kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That would be a really great place to place it.
Okay, cool.
And that's it. It takes like 30, 40 minutes.
So, what we've got 2 games. We've got one that's kickstarting in the autumn and one that's kickstarting on Tuesday.
Okay, cool.
So the one I'll just quickly tell you about this one.
Yep.
This is kickstarting in the autumn and it's called Mob Sitters. And the idea is that you're babysitters for various mobsters.
Okay, cool.
But you're greedy babysitters and you want to make a little bit of extra money. And you can do that by stealing from the mobster. Which is risky because it might end up with you getting whacked by him at the end of the game, or you can do a little job for the mobster, like destroy some evidence or sell some perfume, which again is dangerous because you might end up being nabbed by the cops and taken off. So the winner is the person who's basically not been whacked or sent to jail and has the most in their safe pile. As they play, what happens is you sort of you have these cards where you kind of your opponent can rat on you, and then you play cards to sort of bat that around and all that kind of thing. So there's a lot of take that and a lot of to and throwing.
How many players is it for?
I'd say 4 to 8.
Okay.
And quite frankly, the more the merrier.
Yes.
It's designed as a party game, a silly party game. A lot of fun, a lot of banter as you're playing. It's that kind of game. At the other end of the spectrum, we've got this, which is starting on Tuesday, which is called Royale. And Liam will tell you all about all about it.
So the Kickstarter is launching on Tuesday. So what it is, it's basically a tactically challenging game of robots fighting in a constantly changing arena that is also getting smaller. So the options become more limited. So the way the game works, whatever your selected character is, before you do any other actions, you get to rotate the tile you're on any amount of degrees, go anywhere you like, and you have to leave the tile that you are on. So you have to move off that point. So I'm going to go here, for example, and you can go as far as you want. So you can go on this one, this bit, or all the way down to the bottom.
I assume these block.
Yes, so those are basically walls, so they block it. I'm going to go here. And then you go all the way across. The reason you place that is that reminds you next turn that once you have to leave that space, because otherwise the floor's going to drop below you.
So does this one stay like that?
That one stays like that. They stay there for the rest of the game.
Without being, obviously, it's got that, hey, that's my fish feel to it. When you move, you lose the tile. Yeah, cool.
Once you've moved somewhere, you can't really go back there.
Cool.
So you could, in theory, trap
Minimize
people
the board.
like that. Yeah.
Cool.
And then as it's my turn with the yellow piece, I see this robot instantly. It dies straight away.
Oh, really?
So it gets shot straight away. That scores me a
Now,
point.
in that sense, though,
Yes.
you would have to go there, and then would you have to rotate the tile to be in view, or would you just turn?
No, it's just it's not like specific facing. So you're 360 degrees. It's just your turn, so you get to shoot first. You get to jump on them.
Okay.
This person dies, and you score a point. Next turn, say the blue character, you come back as a spawn token.
Right.
So what that means is you can't shoot anyone. so you can't just go right behind someone.
Yeah.
But also you can't be shot as well.
Okay.
So you can try and reevaluate the board, find out a decent position where to go. Somewhere like
here, because you could come along this way and down and round.
But then you've got to be careful of this guy as well. So maybe somewhere like.
But you wouldn't be able to be shot the first turn, so it wouldn't be the worst outcome.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So that would force him to move because
it would
he would
force
want
him
to
to move. Exactly. Yeah. So this one would go along here, and then I've got to get away from him because the minute this guy spawns, so I can't really go in front. Although I probably could because there's a wall.
Yeah, there's a wall, so we can't shoot through. So
you know what? We'll do that. We'll go there.
So that's giving you a chance to come round.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
And then this guy, you know, well, the green one would go.
So then the green one would say go.
Yep.
Now, can he go over, or does he have to?
He can go over them. He just can't stay on them.
Well, in this instance, he would have to go this way and go to say here.
Yeah. Or you could do this as well. So you're there. You could rotate it here. Rotate it here. Move over to here. And then get a kill that way on this guy.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice.
And potentially as well, if it was like this,
you could get the two of them.
You would get both of them.
Oh, nice.
Which is why this guy is probably a better pose with like bang bang both of them. So yeah, you get the kills as long as you see them basically. So on your turn you're allowed to shoot, and that's basically how it works. And as the arena's getting smaller, your options get limited, and it's the first 1 to 3 kills.
Oh, okay, so it's not. Yeah, there is an objective in the sense it's not trying to get off the board, it's kills.
Yes, yes.
So even if, say he was still alive, but you got 3 kills, regardless of him, so 1, 2, 3. Or is it 3 players?
It's first one to get 3 points, so 3 kills.
So it could be
the
twice
yellow
on
one
one.
Yeah, so you could kill the same player twice and then kill the other one. And then, so yeah, it's launching on Kickstarter. There's obviously going to be some stretch goals. One of the stretch goals is an expansion. So the expansion adds 9 more tiles to the mix, so it makes a 5x5 grid and 2 more robots. So you can have a 6-man free-for-all, 6-robot free-for-all with the same kind of rules, but also it will have some more funkier tiles as well. So it might have a teleport on this piece and a teleport on this piece. So even though this guy looks perfectly safe, this one's going to go here and come out here. Oh no!
And so the teleport will disappear.
Yes, so there'll be like one use. So there will be like an advantage going to them first, but also that might seem like the obvious thing as well. So it's like I'll avoid it for now. I'll be wary that someone could pop up from there any minute. There might be someone setting up a trap or something along those lines. And there's various other things that will add to it in the expansion as well. So the base game will be £25. These will be pretty much the final miniatures. These are just prototypes, but there will be standard sort of thick board game cards. And pretty much the same for those as well. And you'll get loads of these in the box, enough to easily play, and you'll just get some kill point markers as well to track who's winning, obviously. But that way it's really good because if you realise that I've probably not got much chance of winning, you could just go. You could just make sure the guy that kept killing you doesn't win. So you try and just like screw him up. Yeah.
Okay, so off the rails is Goblin Minecart Racing to collect jewels. The idea is that you are a team of goblins and your guys are down the mines throwing out jewels randomly because they're not very coordinated. They don't particularly know what they're doing, but they're chucking out jewels that they got down the mine. And it's your job to go run around the mine, create the tracks, and pick up the jewels. Yep. Avoid each other. Avoid going off the rails. The minecarts do not stop. So once you decide to place a minecart on the track and go, you're going. So. Okay. So you're picking up your jewels as you're going, you're avoiding each other or you're colliding with each other to knock jewels out of their minecart, and you're leaving the board. The key turn happens about halfway through the game. The goblins have disturbed way too much underground and the ground starts giving way. So not only are you racing against each other to get the jewels before the opponent, but before the actual floor gives way and the chasm happens, and you slowly start placing holes against your opponent around the board.
So take that mechanic.
Yes.
Cool.
Kind of. I would say kind of. It doesn't have to play like a take that mechanic. That's the thing. There are rules in there called bumper car rules, which allow the players to play a slightly lighter, less take that version of the game. Where if they collide with each other, they don't drop jewels. They just bounce around the tracks. They just change direction and messes their game up that way.
So it's got we're gonna take that kind of people. but it's also got a more family-friendly, sort of less aggressive strategy, which is
absolutely. I mean, the game funded on Kickstarter, so I appealed to a Kickstarter audience.
Good.
Which is basically they want everything. So within the game, we did a lot of solo rules as well, so you can play as by yourself as well.
Oh, cool.
And they turned out really well. They turned out really cool. And you're playing against the chasm in that sense. So you're controlling all the goblins. You're chipping together to try and get one of each jewel off the board.
Okay, yes.
And that's basically off the rails. I mean, the minecarts are designed so that you can change the speed of the minecart without having to mess with it. Single-handed, sort of dice changing as you play. So that controls your speed of your minecart. The way that the jewels are distributed is you will draw one of each type of mine from the deck. So that's also your timer. So you can increase that or decrease that depending if you want a long game or a short game. The chasm tokens will deploy from a space that there are no jewels, so you know that. That's knowledge as you go into that. So when it does appear, you know there are safe zones that you can go onto. And then from then on, it's a case of you place orthogonally adjacent mine. So if you were you drew red 7, you could only physically place it around the mine. 4 actions a turn. 4 actions that you can do a turn. You can place tracks, you can upgrade tracks into crosses and T's.
Right, okay.
You can
upgrade them.
Yeah, you can change the speed of your minecart, or you can place a minecart on a track of your own side.
Right, okay.
You can actually leave anywhere. But
so
you can
only any board edge.
You can leave off any board edge, but it's quite dangerous because obviously they can come straight back on from that edge. Place 2 to 4, like I say, but there are certain rules.
I mean, like an instance, if they bump, does your card get removed, or?
There's no physical movement, there is turning. So if you collide head on, you'll turn 180 degrees or from the direction that you entered. And then if you're not carrying jewels, you'll be derailed. If you are carrying jewels and you're hit, you'll split your jewels up into 2 hands, and they'll pick a hand.
Okay.
So if you've got 3, you can, put the rock, which is worth nothing, and the 2 jewels that you can just play the odds,
Cool.
So you can do that as well.
I've noticed this is hidden.
Yes, so the jewels that you actually leave the board with go into your stockpile. And the reason for that is obviously you don't want to be going, well, you've got that many points, so I can get this chip. Plus, the person who has the most rubies by the end of the game gets a bonus. Because they're only worth 1 point, whereas the diamond is worth 4. So, so there's a reason to be collecting the rubies while you're going around the board. Obviously, the jewels are rarities, so the more expensive, there's only like 5 diamonds in the bag, and then they go up to like 24.
And the jewels drawn from a bag randomly.
So you'll draw I've lost my board. You'll draw a deposit card, and that'll tell you how many jewels at what mine point.
Okay.
So that'll take 2 jewels from the bag, and you'll place it on.
Okay, cool.
And you'll do that after every turn. So every turn you get a progression card until you hit the chasm card. And then it's a case of slowly destroying the chasm.
And the sake of is it tile placement in that you do that as one of your actions, or do you have like a pile of tiles you have actions?
Yeah, so these are all communal. You place a tile is an action. You can place a straight or a corner. You can upgrade a straight to a T, but you can't take away routes. So you can only add to it.
If, say for instance, I played this, could somebody else upgrade it on me?
Yes, they can, but they must retain that original route. So they can't change that to that and totally mess you up.
Has to always connect.
And that will then upgrade to a cross, and then it can't go any further. So you are kind of building a communal railway in some senses.
Chaotic, but no.
It could be. Well, the thing is, in a 2-player, you very rarely make those connections. So it becomes a lot more about the strategy of where you're going to place your tracks. In a 4-player, all hell happens, and it does go a bit crazy. But I mean, from what I've heard from the people who've backed it, people who've played it, that's quite a high appeal. People like that they can go into a game knowing it's going to be slightly different with a different number of people.
Yes, that's one of the good things. And like the single player as well is becoming more popular nowadays. Single player, so that's another go-get factor, especially for like myself, wife and kids. Finding time to go meet friends, it's like, okay, I'll just quickly have a game myself. And this is one of the ones I was looking at because my son, he's young, I'm teaching these kind of games, and this would be one he'd probably get into because it makes train tracks and stuff.
My 3-year-old loves it.
Oh, nice.
He loves it. He'll place tiles, he'll draw the cards, he doesn't quite get the game, but he loves.
Simplify it for him. And it's
Yeah,
enough.
exactly. He'll play his minecarts, he'll move down 3 each time until he decides that he actually wants to roll the dice and put the dice back in the cart, which has also been suggested by backers as a tactic.
It's a bit of a chaos mechanic, I guess.
But,
I mean, that could be something if 2 cars bump, they could then roll dice to decide that's a new speed that you're going because you've been shunted faster or shunted when you slowed down.
Yeah,
So,
by all
pretty
means,
cool,
yeah.
So, 2-player games from 6 years old, published by The Flying Games and by Bruno Catala. Aim of the game is to manage to scare all your opponent's dinosaurs,
Right, okay.
or to manage to get maximum point by eating as many grass as possible. The game will end as soon as there is no more grass on the table,
Right.
or all your opponent, dinosaurs from one color are scared and out of the table.
Okay, cool.
Or if there is 2 moves that are done without eating or scaring anything. At your round, you have to do 2 moves. Moving one dinosaur to a grass,
Right.
you reveal it, and you hide it. Second move, you can use the same dinosaur or take another one. I reveal it, I do the power, I will explain you the power just after, and I just hide it. And then it's your turn, extra. So what are the different effects that you will find on this game? Now, all written here, very easy to understand. This one is just a birth. You take one of your dinosaurs from the stock and you place it on an empty space. This one, on one square where you find this token, you can look all the grass.
Okay, so you can.
Yeah, exactly. This one, you take any dinosaur you want except the T-Rex and you move it.
Oh, yeah. And when they land, say if I moved him to here, would he eat the grass?
Only on an empty space.
Oh, only on an empty space, okay.
This one, if the T-Rex is in game, you can move the T-Rex when you want. If it's not in game, you just can watch one tile from the board where you find the token. This one, you discard 2 grass without looking at it.
Oh, okay, so you just like.
Exactly. Yeah. But you select. It's not mandatory adjacent.
Yeah, it could be here and here.
Exactly. Yeah. And this one, the bad one is coming. You lose your dinosaur, and the T-Rex is here.
Oh, okay.
It's a neutral one, so it can be used by both players. Let's imagine that I'm the blue player. 1, 2, and that's how you scare the opponent. He cannot eat grass, so he's blocked.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you have to almost eat the grass.
Exactly.
Okay, so
and
it's
then
about risk reward.
Yeah, being lucky, having the right token at the right time, and then you play.
So you'd effectively say you like this. You'd want to hope you move here and it's a fly one, and you can fly over here so he goes up.
Yeah, or fly elsewhere,
Yeah.
or even take an opponent dinosaur to block the way. You can do many things. So I explained you everything.
Yeah.